It is very, very simple. That's the exercise. Repeat the word or phrase over and over again in your mind and allow the exercise to do what it does. Now, as with the other meditation, some days are going to be different than other days. Some days you might find yourself really transported and experiencing some kind of totally different type of consciousness that's blissful and lovely and everything else. And some days your mind is just too busy, it's too frantic, and it doesn't seem to allow you to get into that state. And what I'd really recommend is, no matter what happens, just avoid judging it. Just do your best. Some days it'll take you on a journey. Some days it won't. But you have to do it on the days when it doesn't. You have to get better at it. You have to keep doing it. And part of it is becoming more comfortable and more familiar with this tricky aspect of trusting it and of just allowing it to do what it does. Because so much of our time, we use our mind to be in control, or at least we give ourselves the idea that we're in control of things, and we're trying to control things with our mind, and that's what our mind is trying to do, is keep control of things. And in this, that's not how it works. In fact, this is mantra. It means crossing over the mind. We're trying to get somehow through the mind. And that's not easy. So it's about trust, it's about perseverance, and it's about letting go, just allowing it to be. So I put together a few other guidelines. Oh, yes, I did get one question, which was, is this different from affirmations? I think it's a good question. I think there's a tremendous value in affirmations. Affirmations are great. For example, saying, I am enough, all day, every day. That's a great affirmation. Strongly recommend it. I think affirmations may work somewhat similarly in one way, because I think they are trying to program you or unprogram you from a consistent way of thinking, of an unhelpful mindset or mind pattern that you might have. It might be trying to undo that. So to one extent, they might be a little bit similar, but mostly I would say they're very different. An affirmation in some ways is trying to do something. It's trying to create a belief or a mind state, or it's trying to say in some ways that something that's going on is not the way you like it and you'd like it to be otherwise. And now there's nothing wrong with wanting something to be different than it is. There are plenty of things I would like to be different than they are. That's just not what we're doing in meditation. Actually, in meditation, we are actually really trying to see reality as it is. Now, even this mantra meditation thing, which is about crossing over, I personally believe it's about crossing over to what is real, what is reality. It is that state of mind and consciousness that you can get into, that it can take you to beyond your mind, is a part of reality, exactly as it is. And we're just trying to get from A to B. Some people might say that's actually real reality as opposed to the reality that we see, always interpreted by our mind. So to that extent, I think affirmations are different. We're not trying to change the way we think, or we're not trying to change anything really. We're actually just having an experience. We're allowing this mantra meditation to do what it does. And not to try and force it to do anything, actually. To just let it do what it does. And if you have a glorious experience with it, then the next time you do it, you'll probably desperately want that wonderful experience again and try and force that wonderful experience. And I'm afraid it doesn't work that way. If you have a wonderful experience, enjoy it. They're great. They're great fun. And then the next day, just do it with no expectation. Just do your best. And some days you'll have a great one. And some days it'll just feel like work, but it's still really valuable and important. Okay, so my guidelines. So, number 1. Gently, gently, gently. What do I mean by that? There's a bit of repetition in these, but gently, gently, gently it's following on. It's very similar to what we were doing in the other meditation, in awareness meditation. I think in awareness meditation, the instruction is you want to rest your attention on the breath very lightly, just like a butterfly landing on a flower, is the analogy that's often given. And I think with this, there can be a sense, I'm going to do mantra meditation. I'm going to do my meditation. And you sit down and you muscle up and you try with all this effort. What I'd say is this is not about putting lots of effort in. It's the one exception. I know in most of our lives, more is better, like more effort, better result. This is about actually letting go. It's about being in the moment. And then there's doing the exercise and allowing the exercise to take you where it takes you. So we're just being very gentle with this one. Next one, again, same as the other type of meditation. Mind wandering is going to happen. It's going to happen. Don't get too excited about it. Doesn't mean you're bad at meditation. It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It doesn't mean you're wasting your time. All of those are just thoughts that your mind is throwing at you. So there you are, you're trying to do this meditation, you're trying to do the mantra, and you're doing the mantra, and you're like, it's not working. I'm supposed to feel more relaxed. I don't feel relaxed. I'm terrible at meditation. I'm terrible at everything. These are just thoughts. It is your mind looking out for you and trying to be helpful. And you can't fight it. You don't want to try harder. That doesn't work. Just notice the mind. Notice that it does what it does. It wanders. And then take yourself back, resting in the mantra. So don't fight your mind. Notice it. And then return to the mantra and try and rest just in wherever it takes you. Again, same as the other meditation. One of the keys here, non-striving. And I guess in some ways the previous two are kind of making the same point. We're not trying to make anything happen here. This is really important. You're not trying to make it happen. That won't work. I think this is a little bit like sailing. I don't know if any of you are sailors, but when I first started sailing, it seemed pretty obvious that if you're trying to go forwards and the wind is behind you, it works pretty well. It works all right. The wind just kind of put up the sail and the wind is going to blow you in the direction you want to go. And then I sort of had to take it on faith. That if you want to go left, you can sort of put your sails at a certain angle and the wind will hit that. And by some magic of physics, it'll actually make you go left instead of in the same direction as the wind. But if you want to go straight into the wind, it turns out that doesn't work very well. If you want to go where the wind is going, you can't just point and try harder. It doesn't work. The wind just laughs at you and keeps pushing you backwards. There was a British comedian called Richard Stilgoe. He used to sort of say that the way you do it is you angle yourself and you sidle up on the wind and you whistle and you look in the opposite direction and you try and pretend to the wind you're not really coming. And then it won't notice and it'll sort of let you sidle up if you just keep doing what they call tacking upwind. So in some ways, I think our relationship with the mind is a little bit similar. You can't just go straight into your mind and go, okay, stop thinking. I want to cross over my mind and reach that quiet place on the other side. The mind is just going to laugh at you and go, no, I'm not going to let you do that. I'm going to make you think about all the things that I want you to think about. You sort of have to sidle up on it and whistle and look the other way and pretend you're not trying to do it. And there are these different techniques like resting in the breath, resting in the mantra, just listening to the mantra over and over again. And I don't know how it works, but perhaps one way it works is that the mind just gets tired of hearing this phrase over and over again, and it just kind of lulls it into a doze. And that then the mantra can do what it does and transport you over to the other side, to whatever experience you're going to experience. So you can't force it. So don't try and force it. Okay, I haven't mentioned this before. Silence is golden. When you're repeating a word or a phrase like Om, what you don't want to do is you don't want to just do them all back to back. It's not Om, 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 Om. You do want to have a pause between the phrases. And the pause is considered to be as important as the word or the phrase. In the silence, there's something just as special as in the sound. So just give yourself a small pause. I don't want you to think too much about it or anything, but almost as if in your mind, you're saying the word or phrase on the out breath. And then as you breathe in, just pause. And then go back to the mantra on the out breath. Now, I'm not saying you have to do it that way, but that's one way of doing it, is that the pause between the words or phrases is important. Trust, trust, trust. Yeah, again, this is about letting go. It's about allowing the mantra to do what it does, allowing the exercise to do what it does, not forcing it, not trying to make your agenda happen. Some days you'll have a great experience, some days you won't, but just trust that whatever happens today is what's supposed to happen today. It's about letting go. And the last one, and of course most important one, is enjoy this. And what I mean by that is, I love this experience that mantra meditation can make available. There's a feeling of spaciousness, emptiness, tremendous wisdom, power, joy, bliss, ecstasy. All of those things are available in this meditation. But not everybody likes it. Not everybody likes this feeling of spaciousness and emptiness and floatiness and losing track of a sense of space or time. This transcendent experience that is talked about, I like, but not everybody does. And you might not enjoy it at first. It might feel a little scary. You might think, okay, am I going crazy? Am I going to get lost in this forever and I'll never come back? And you may have all of these fears and concerns and worries, and that's fine and probably sensible things. Means your mind is probably trying to look out for you and take care of you and prevent you from doing strange things. But the truth is that none of those things are going to happen. You'll be fine. And at some point you'll wish it did last forever and you didn't come out of it. But you always do. You know, at some point the mind always kicks in and brings you out. No matter how deep you go, you will come out. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. So you might need a bit of time to get used to it. But equally, if you don't like this, don't do it. It's fine. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of other meditation techniques. So don't worry about it too much if you don't like it. But maybe give it a try for a week. Each morning this week in the live sessions, we'll be doing some slightly different aspect of it. Might be doing some slightly different mantras and things like that, and maybe looking at each one of these guidelines every day. I haven't quite worked out what I'm going to do, but we'll be doing mantra meditation this week. But that doesn't mean you have to. But maybe try it for a week and see, because it might just take a little bit of getting used to, because it is a different state of consciousness that this takes you on the journey with. But trust yourself. If you don't like it, don't do it. There's plenty of other ones to do.